Hey Last Looks crew, rerun season is coming to an end. Our 9th season will kick off in a few weeks and I am so excited with the lineup I have coming your way. I've started doing more interviews on camera, which feels kind of weird, but I'm slowly getting used to it. So you should subscribe to the Last Looks YouTube channel and catch some or all of the episodes there. I've popped a direct link in the show notes to make it easy peasy lemon squeezy for you. But have you checked out the super fun Last Looks sticker bundles up on the merch store? Grab some of those, rep Last Looks on set and in the trailer, slap those bad boys all over the place, and it's a fun way to show your support for the podcast. And speaking of supporting the podcast, did you know you can buy the podcast a coffee? Not to worry, not a literal coffee, thank God. You're like, how am I going to get that to the podcast? I'm one of those weirdos that actually hates coffee. Yeah, strong word, but if it's yucky, it's yucky. Okay, getting off topic. What I'm saying is, if you go to the link in the show notes, it'll take you to an awesome website that lets you send a little support the podcast's way. It may be obvious to some and less to others, but this little old podcast ain't the breadwinner you might think it is, and that's okay. But I just don't want it to become an expensive hobby. So any way you can support the podcast is appreciated greatly and helps me put back into the show. Our guest on this rerun episode is makeup and hair designer Sharon Martin. Since I first spoke to Sharon, she has had so many more exciting projects come out, including Matilda and George Clooney's The Boys in the Boat. Listening back to this episode, I was reminded of what a positive spirit Sharon is, and her laugh is to die for. I mean, I love it. One last thing before we kick into this episode. I wanted to let you know, when you go to the link in our bio of our Instagram page at lastlooks.crew, that's where you'll find all the brands we have discounts for. And when I say we, I mean you. There's also an Amazon storefront where I've put everything from my must-haves, guests' must-haves, items that help you when you're away on location, clothing for different weather situations we find ourselves in, through to loads of reference and inspirational books, and they're my favorite. It's quite the collection. So not only is that a good resource to help you guys, it also helps the podcast. So go on, check it all out. My name is Jamie Lee, a hairstylist working in film, and this is the Last Looks podcast, a show where I catch up with hair and makeup artists working in the film industry around the world. And today on this rerun episode, I'm chatting with hair and makeup artist Sharon Martin. On with the show.
And now, our feature presentation.
Pictures up.
Last Looks. Rolling.
And action.
Welcome to the Last Looks podcast, Sharon.
Hi, thank you, Jamie. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of this.
Absolutely. Now, I would like you to finish this sentence for me, okay?
Okay.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Sharon, and when she grew up, she wanted to be...
makeup and hair artist.
You did?
Yes.
That's awesome. I love when people knew like so early on. Awesome.
Oh, God. Yeah. I was like, the first time I saw a makeup artist at work, I think I was like 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw what I now know to be a photo shoot.
Okay.
I thought, what are they doing? And she had like an artist palette and she walked across the road and kind of touched her face. And I was just walking home looking at this thing going, what are they doing? Mm. Okay, right. And then that was it. I left and that's never left me.
Wow. So I wonder what would have happened if you didn't come across
I know.
that on the street. That's amazing.
By then I'd shaved my friend's eyebrows off and, tried to straighten their hair with a hot fork and stuff like that. So I was on my way.
That's very cool. Or experimenting.
Oh, yeah.
When you were young on other people.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And did any of the family end up being experimented on as well?
Oh God, yeah, everyone had to, it's like, because it's that thing. I mainly because my mother is a hairdresser. Well, she Yeah, she trained as a hairdresser. My family are from Jamaica. And so she trained as a hairdresser in the 1950s before she came to England.
Oh, wow.
So she came to England as a qualified hairdresser. And she then went to work in the National Health Service as a nurse, but she always did hair because there were no Afro hair salons that they could go to. So, my mom would do hair at home on her days off. So all her friends would come, and my mom was making like hair wefts. I remember her making wefts with yak's hair to stitch into, to make a weave onto her friends. And she would hot comb and straighten the hair, and then it would sort of blend in until about 5 minutes later when the moisture hit it. But that was weekends at home. Those were the Saturday mornings. And so I just used to get involved and helped her and learn from her.
That's very cool. So your hair must have always been looking pretty good too, huh? Doing it for you. I didn't quite do what I wanted.
Looking good is probably not the word, because I experimented. My mother always said to me, she goes, I can't believe you've got hair. Because I remember I wanted my hair to be pink. I wanted pink hair. I wanted it to be cyclamen, that particular cyclamen. It was crazy color times, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so I decided to just bleach it.
Yep.
So I put the peroxide on for like an hour, and I just waited and waited until it was white. And then when I put the cyclamen on, it was just pink. It wasn't cyclamen. It was just bright pink. And I started crying, because I know my mom's going to kill me, my mom and dad. Like, what has she done now? Because, by then I'd cut it and do all kinds of rubbish to it. But this pink hair, so I thought, I have to get rid of this pink hair before they get home. So I then started mixing browns and blacks from my mom's hairdressing cabinet. By the time they came home, I was ginger. My dad came home. I literally looked like those red squirrels, those grey squirrels. And the color was, each day it goes on, if you put moisturizer in your hair, it just rubs off. So it's a different color. And my dad just decided, look, I don't want to see you, so you have to stay upstairs. And when my dad came home, I just had to go to my bedroom because he could not look at me.
He's like, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah, I literally want none of this. And then, from there, I had my 21st birthday party, and I decided I was going to have a haircut. I wanted the Grace Jones flat top. But I didn't say anything to anyone. I left the house. I'd booked into the hairdressers, and I went and I came home shaven at the sides with the Grace Jones flat top for my birthday party that night. Oh my God. That was another, we don't want to see you, just stay in your room moment. And then we went to the venue for the party, and everyone's arriving going, oh my God, you look great, you look amazing, you look fabulous. Because I've put the full makeup on, the 80s, extended eyeshadows out, and I am Grace Jones. And as the evening wore on, my mum kind of said, I guess that looks okay. Because everybody else liked it. So she kind of felt pressured into accepting it. Yeah. So that was me. And then when I said I wanted to train in hair, my dad said, you can't do that, because coming from an immigrant background, everyone wants to do better, and the fear for your children and all of this stuff. And he said, your mum does hair in the back. That's not a career. You need to be a nurse or a secretary, because all my cousins and everything, they're kind of, corporate people. And I'm like, I don't think so. So I just enrolled in college and went and did hair. But at the time, that was the hair side of it. But I knew I didn't want to work in a salon. I knew that there was something else out there that I wanted to do with this in a creative way. So it was a real exploration, because, this was late 70s, early 80s. I mean, no one we know comes from that kind of background. Nobody is involved with it. It's such a foreign thing that you're talking about. I remember my mum saying that, I don't want to do makeup because I'm so vain. I just want to look at myself all the time. And so it was literally, out on a limb, trying to find your way. And I've been really lucky in meeting people where you kind of position yourself, basically. I, ended up going to work in the theatre because I then realized that it'd be good to kind of learn about wigs, stuff like that. So I went to work in the theatre so I could kind of polish up on those skills and working in the theatre and doing other jobs and stuff because, of course, our parents are not supporting it at all because, what are you doing? And you wear just, terrible clothes. You never look smart.
Like, I'm an artist.
Exactly. It's like you never look smart and you've got holes in your clothes and you wear khaki trousers, because in the Caribbean, it's like the field workers wear those clothes. And then here's my dad with his 2 daughters. And then suddenly it's like, this is what they wear. And he's ashamed.
Yeah.
Because, it was just that thing. It was literally, I knew what I wanted to do, how I was going to get there. I had no idea. But I knew that
you were going to work it out.
Yeah, I'm going to figure it out now. When I look back on it, I think, God, that was such a great journey. I really, really enjoyed it because the kind of nooks and crannies that you get into and the people you meet. But back in those days, you could hustle. Now I think everything is a little bit more linear, kind of have to be connected. And there is a right and a wrong way to do everything, which I think in a lot of ways kind of stifles creativity. A lot of times young people ask me now, it's like, how do I get into the industry? And still, there's no real direct way into the industry.
No.
But what you need is tenacity. You have to be tenacious and be prepared to just be ready for anything at any time.
Yeah. Because it's not like there's an ad in the classifieds in the paper for hair and makeup artists wanted for film.
Yeah, good rate of pay, lunch provided, all of that stuff. No, that doesn't exist.
It's like a mythical creature. It's just like,
how weird. Yeah, I'm excited about helping with this school that's been launched over here, the London Screen Academy, which Barbara Broccoli, the working title team and a bunch of other well-known producers, they've, been thinking about giving something back. So started it's a 6th form. So your last 2 years at school is spent at this school learning about the film industry.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible because the school opened last September and the school is basically like a film set. You have each department is represented from props to grips to catering, the whole thing is literally like a movie set. And you do your regular studies alongside that. But it just means that by the time you get onto a film set, it's not a foreign place. Because, I don't know if you can remember how foreign arriving on set was.
Oh, yeah.
You're just in the wrong place. There's all these people. What do they do? All of this stuff. It's crazy. So to kind of arrive with that knowledge, I think is a great thing. And those 2 years, if you decide not to go directly into the film industry and you want to go to university, their credits, they're like 3 A levels. You can still go to university.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm kind of championing that. I've been supporting that. I'm doing lots of open days and talks, trying to get students in and also because the idea of it for Eric and Tim and Barbara and all that is to get a more diverse industry. You know how it's all kind of family led, like people know each other and this is my brother and then the grips are all brothers and sisters and uncles and all of that stuff. So it's just to get more people in. Yeah. Which can only be a good thing. So I've been quite active with that. That's been my pet project.
That's very cool. So when you were in college for hairdressing, was makeup included in that, or was that something that you kind of
makeup wasn't
on the job?
Makeup was not included. It was a hair course, and I then went to makeup school. I worked for my dad because my dad had a building company, so I worked for him, being his secretary, general runner, whatever you might want to be called. And so I worked for my dad and saved the money because they wouldn't pay for it for me. and I had to pay for it. So I paid and went to makeup school.
I love how parents do this. It's just kind of like, no, we're not going to help her. Like if she really wants to do this, then she's going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think in the back of your mind, you're just like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do this.
Exactly. You know, and then you look back and you just go, but they literally had no idea, you know, and then sadly, so my poor dad is like, he's got 2 daughters and my sister's an actress. And that was another thing. That was the worst thing. It's just like, why would they want to do this? Where have they got these ideas from?
How have we failed as parents?
Exactly. Why me? Look at my brother's children. They all work in the city and they're all very smart. And, you know, I'm not embarrassed, you know, not embarrassed. They're not embarrassing them at Christmas time, toning up in crazy makeup and crazy hair and all this stuff. It's like, and being the laughing stock of the family. But, you know,
I'm sure it turned around at some point.
Absolutely. Because, you know, once I was doing my makeup, then, you know, I could do the makeup for my aunts and, you know, my mom and all this. I remember doing my Auntie Norma's makeup and she gave me 50p to buy my crisps. That was outrageous. But explain. She said, you could buy yourself some crisps, Sharon, and gave me 50p.
You're like, I'm being paid for my work.
Yeah, paid work, you know. I'm getting there.
That's awesome. I love it.
I remember my mom, before she passed away, was very proud. You know, just if I've done something and it's coming on the TV, I mean, it's a big, whatever, the production or whatever. She's telling all her friends, Sharon's show is coming on. It's like, I'm not even in it.
No. Yeah. That's so cool, though.
Sharon. And then luckily it paid off also for my sister. You know, she has become quite successful. Yeah. So it's all paid off really. And again, it takes me back to just being tenacious. Just, you've got to stick with it.
I think that's something that I picked up as well, was just like persistence. Just be persistent. Keep knocking at those doors. Keep
knocking
going.
at those doors and just muscle your way in. It will pay off.
So after you finished makeup school, is that when you started going in and doing theatre work?
Yeah, I think from makeup school is where I learned about, you know, the kind of where my knowledge was lacking in the wigs, because we did little bits of that.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, so after that, that's when I thought, you know, I'll go down the theatre route. Because there was also, you know, there was a point when I thought I could just do like fashion makeup and just, you know, do that. But I didn't like the world, you know. It felt more difficult to get into because you had to be a part of an in crowd. You know, people wouldn't pay you for stuff. You know, you'd be paid with a top or a handbag and all of that stuff. And you're like, oh my God, how do we pay the rent if you've just got like a nice jacket for this week's work?
Yeah.
So that was not going to be an option. So I tried to get into the theatre. And again, getting into the theatre was really difficult. So I went in as a dresser with costume to wait until there was a job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was dressing. And then, you know, the wig master, I remember he was really, really lovely, very kind. And he would let me, I could go in early when they were dressing the wigs before I had to start work. And I could go in and watch them and help and get involved and then go over because, you know, I made sure everyone knew that that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And this was my holding bay until somebody left.
That's cool.
Or sometimes you could cover, you know, there was a swing cover, you think, oh, someone's off, then you could get a chance to like put the wig on or something. And it's just, just being there, like I'm here. And when the job comes up, then I'm going to have it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I worked in theatre for years, actually. So I worked in theatre, I think on and off for about 3-4 years. And during that time, I sort of got into doing pop promos, which was a big thing in the 80s, doing pop videos.
What's that? Oh, pop videos. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just sort of pop promos then. So you were doing like all these big, you know, videos and video shoots and things. So this is feeling more like it, you know, I'm living the dream.
That's cool.
Yeah, doing videos and meeting more people, you know. And then I was asked to do a tour with a band. And so I had to leave the theatre to go do the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. I just went on the world tour.
Took that leap.
A band at the time all called Soul to Soul.
Oh, wow.
And they were huge. And
Mm-hmm.
I went out as, you know, as a makeup artist with them and went on the road. Great fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun to be had. Traveling the world, you know, 70 strong. Rolling in Japan and Australia and New Zealand and Brazil and then all across America. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe this.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, it was just a great, great time, you know, because it was like, at the time, it was kind of like a movement, you know, It just felt like the right place to be. Then, of course, we came back and had to go back to the theatre.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm well traveled now and I'm back at the same theatre. Yeah.
Back to the theatre, you know, do some work, do some shifts, and then see what comes up next. I met someone else there who was kind of doing films. There were two girls in the wig department who were kind of doing bits of crowd work and working in the theatre. So I connected with them, trying to get bookings as well, going into the crowd, working. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed, meeting people.
Yeah. What was the first kind of like full-time TV or film job that you were on?
The first full time, I remember there was like a chat show that I did. I can't remember the name of it now, but there was a chat show, and the producer for that chat show, she was doing like a comedy show.
Mm-hmm.
But what I remember really clearly is that what we used to work on a lot is at the time, Channel 4 used to make short films, 10 minutes film.
Oh, wow.
So so the Channel 4 shorts was a big thing. So all the students, the students from the National Film and Theatre, everyone who's trying to be a director, trying to be a costume designer, trying to be a makeup artist, would all get together and be doing these shoots. So, there's colleagues of mine now who I met on those jobs who are now still producing and still working in the industry. So that was a really good start for everyone. These little shoots, and then you're working on night shoots. There's no, they've not been given permission to film anywhere, so you're guerrilla in it.
Yeah.
There's no makeup truck. You're making up in the toilet.
I know. I think there's something to be said for doing those jobs like that.
100%.
When you get down the line and someone's just like, can you just do this here? And you're like, yeah, I can.
Yeah. But suddenly, you need like this cut or this wound. And then now, like with this generation, they think, oh my God, I don't have a pro bondo.
Yeah.
Nothing prepared. And you're like, we need to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So you get your mortician's wax out, you get your whatever you need to get out, and then you're just going to get that done,
Yeah.
And yes, I know it's raining and whatever is happening, but the hair needs to be straight and we need to keep it like this. So, we just need to figure this out. And, suddenly, I remember I did a film with a colleague of mine who was designing it, Pebbles, and she working with Shane Meadows. And, everything is improvised. So they would get together, the actors in the mornings, they'd have a chat and figure out what they were going to do today. And they come out and they're like, do you have a wig that looks like this? Do you have any facial hair that looks like this? Not like, oh God, not really, but
yeah.
I'm
pulling things out of the hat.
Yeah. Because you're already there. You can't say no.
Yeah.
Because they figured all this out. And so now, like you say, when you get prep time and fittings and all of this stuff, and it's a luxury.
Absolutely. It's amazing how much you do have to really think on your feet and to troubleshoot and just.
But that's the thing. I was talking to a colleague of mine yesterday. She's a costume designer. We went for a walk together. Mm-hmm. And we're saying about, how you get to a certain stage, and it's not even so much about your skills anymore. You're managing and troubleshooting and doing all this stuff. And it kind of like, you think, oh, really? There's a really nice look there that I'd like to do. But if you get locked into that, then that means the rest of your show you're going to be missing in the rest of your shows. Like when the next characters come up, who's going to prep them? when will they be ready? How can we be testing them when you're tied into looking after this artist because you fancy doing that? So it becomes about, the management and, like you say, troubleshooting, looking after your team and making sure you've got the right team and support and all of this stuff.
I mean, it is incredible how, especially in our line of work, how when you become head of department or you're assisting head of department, how much management, how many, you have to have management skills. And it's not like it's something that nobody's going to college for it.
No.
Trying to work it out as you go along. And I mean, we're a bunch of creative artists. So to be able to multitask with worrying about the creative, artistic side of it.
Yeah.
Then
it gives you sleepless night. It does me because, I have to double check myself all the time in terms of my management side of things. Have we done this? Has that been booked? Is this prepared? Is second unit got everything they need? All of this stuff. And then the actual creative work that you've been employed to do. And, just goes out the window. And I have to say that there was a time when I think this earlier on in my design career, because at that point, you kind of feel like you have to do everything because you have to prove that you can do everything and that you're really great at it. I had a very kind producer who I did a job as a key. She called me and she said, there is a job and I'd like to put you forward for it, but you have to realize that you can't take on the responsibilities that you do at the moment because we're employing you for your design skill. You doing number one or doing number two, you will end up in trouble when you come to this level of picture.
Right.
So you could put your team together accordingly.
Wow. That's some great insight on the
honestly, that probably goes under one of the best pieces of advice I'd ever been given. Reluctantly, I then had to watch number one's makeup and hair slip out of my fingers, like handing it over.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got a show to do. Now it makes complete sense in that you have to do the show. But the great thing about it is that when you have a team, you're still hands-on. You have to sign off on it all the time, don't you? So you have to just go, if this was just here and just do a little flick or something, and just to own it.
Yeah.
Most people that work with me will go, Sharon, what do you think? Do you want to have a look? Or, and then I'll go and check. And then it's great. What's this? And then I'll just touch it.
That's awesome.
I'll just touch it because I can.
That's great. It sounds like you've been finding team members that you have the confidence in to just let them get on with what they need to do, though. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing when I've got people that I've worked with over and over. They kind of get how I work. I feel like you get the best work out of people when they're feeling most confident and relaxed and feeling a part of the team.
Yeah.
It's I want something. I won't necessarily tell you how to do it. I'll show you what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then your journey to get to what I want is yours.
Yeah.
Because, when I was assisting and then I would be told, set it like this, do it like that, then you do that. And then you're so locked in to what you've been told to do and how it should be done that I don't think, you do a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. I don't think you feel like any part of it is yours either.
No.
So like you're not as proud of it because you didn't have that.
And there's no,
creating.
So you're not as committed because you're just a pair of hands who will just roll it just like this, and just spray this amount of water on it. So it's damp to just that level. And then you roll it and then you set it and then you do that. And I think, my God, you go home and your back is in pain. Your arms are in pain because you're so restricted. But at the same time, you have no emotional connection to it.
Yeah, it's so true. It's such a good way to look at it. Because, it's just like, it's that person to just be like, this is how I want this to look. However you want to get there. If you have trouble,
then I'm here.
Then I'm here. I've got your back.
Yeah.
We'll work it out together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
absolutely. Yeah. And I think, for me, that's the only way to work, because, you find people are just content at work. And, I would never leave someone just completely in the lurch, like, oh, I want that. And then, and they do it and then go show and tell. And then it turns out and that's not what they want. And then you kind of drop them in it. I think we all have to leave here believing in this. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. That's how you've got there. Okay, fine. I'm thinking that maybe if you had done this that little way, maybe we could make this a little bit more like this. And then when we go to show this, we're all in it together.
Absolutely.
The thing about our department is that it's such a team sport. It's an absolute team sport. And that's why, you find going up and collecting awards and just saying thank you, bye-bye. And you just go, oh my God, the team, like your crowd supervisor, all of your crowd dailies.
Yeah.
You could never, ever be standing there without them.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I always,
And they
every now and again when I come across someone who's just like, I did this and I did that. And I'm like, you're the only person in the entire department and you did the entire film. No
I know.
way.
That absolutely always breaks my heart, because you just go, there are people that would be there way before you'd even turn over in your bed who are doing this, and you kind of claim it all. You just, you can't. And then that's why, I'm a massive team player. It's just about the team, making sure everyone is checking with everyone, what's going on, how they're feeling, what's happening, all of that stuff. I'm really nosy.
Yeah. I am too. I'm always asking people's business, like, what's going on?
I'm right up in there and knowing what's going on and, and all of this stuff. And if there's anything I can do to help or whatever, then I'm there. But, it's important. It's a long day. It's a hard day. It's a tough job. We just have to make sure that we look after each other. That for me is very important.
I was told recently, and because how you like have a way of saying things or doing things and not really realize, because it's just how you do it on a daily basis. And I had somebody say to me, she's like, oh, I love how you check in. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's just like, well, you'll just kind of, gently across the trailer, just go, hey, are we winning?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you winning over there? How's it going?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, I always feel like it's not you're just checking in. It's not a judgment question. It's just like, are you feeling like you're winning with what you're doing right now?
Yeah,
are
exactly.
You succeeding? Are you getting to the point that you need to get to? Or do you need a little bit of help? Like, how are we going?
And then you get to the stage where, you can literally just like, you could feel someone looking at you and they want you. Okay, I think I need it over there. And then you can go and be around and be supportive, be helpful. But all of that it's such an important part of the department, which you cannot be taught. Those are things that you learn.
Yeah.
Just by osmosis, right? And also when you learn through ways that you may have been treated in your journey up that you don't want to be replicated.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of that, but at the same time, I think some of the less good experiences, you learn a lot more from them in a way than your kind of nicer people.
I think so. I know it's kind of frustrating that is the case, but I mean, you're going to remember those negative feelings more and be like, I don't want to make somebody feel like that. So those moments stuck with me as well. It's just
honestly, they're still so raw. Like you literally, you don't need to go deep to find them, just, you do remember them. They don't go away. And I don't want anyone of mine who's a trainee or a member of my team or anyone to not feel valued.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What are some other skills do you think that are needed when you're a head of department?
Those are management skills and those people skills. I guess it's just that sense of humor.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think you really need a sense of humor, because some days, if you don't laugh, you will literally be sitting on the ground crying. You're just like, when you're caught in the middle of studios and producers and directors and actors, I mean, my God, if you don't have a sense of humor, then really you're in a hiding to nothing.
It's so
because,
true.
you know, it is. You just, without, you know, because by the time you've kind of, you know, corralled everyone and managed everyone and, you know, get yourself together and do all of that, you know, you just got to be able to laugh at yourself. You know, I remember one experience I had, which was, I always go, you know, you've got career highs, career lows. And this was my career low. I was doing the movie Last King of Scotland, and it was it's kind of like my biggest movie that I had department headed, and I'm away on location as well. So we're filming in Uganda, and it's my first time in Africa, first time on the continent. There's no infrastructure for filmmaking there.
Yeah.
So anyway, Idi Amin, he had to have a wig. So, you know, had the wig made and all is good. But we have a swimming pool scene. And Idi Amin, Forrest Whitaker's playing Idi Amin, and he has to dive into the swimming pool with this wig, and he has no hair himself.
Yeah.
So to anchor points are an issue.
Yeah.
So I decided to just glue the whole thing. You know, I just have to just glue it as much as I can. And I had like a double wig, you know. So cleaned his head, IPA, make sure there's no grease as possible, put it on. And of course, took ages to set up and all of that. So eventually he's not on set for hours and hours and hours. And, you know, there's bits of it kind of lifting and I'm, you know, fixing. Anyway, he dives into the pool, Jamie, and he goes one way and the wig goes the other way. He doesn't know he's not wearing the wig, so he's acting his heart out.
Oh, bless.
And I stood there and I was like, you know, that silent scream, that painting, the silent scream, my mouth was open, nothing was coming out. There was nothing coming out. And I was like, oh my God. And my assistant was screaming at one of the extras, go get the wig, go get the wig. So anyway, he went and got the wig. So then he thought the cool thing to do is to just swim over to Forrest and hand it to Forrest.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, Forrest. Oh my God, I'm going to be sent home. In the end, I literally had to sit there and just go, what can you do? You know?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you obviously did everything that you could. You gone within an inch of its life and it just, what's going to happen is going to happen.
What's going to happen is going to happen because he has no hair to anchor this wig to. And then considering it wasn't even like his hero wig, you know, it's a doubles wig, which we've kind of mocked up and, you know, so it's in the white shirt, he dives in. And all of this. We're going to try our best, but if it stays on, it stays on. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And of course, Forrest doesn't know what's going on. He's acting away.
And at no point did they just think that they should say cut? Or
yeah, of course, we cut, you know, under all of that. But all of that felt like about 5 hours. It probably was about a minute, but it felt like it was a day. And like, oh my God, oh my God. It was awful. Absolutely awful. But yeah, fight another day.
That's, so what did you have to do it again, set it up again?
I then said I could put the hero wig on. They've got the kind of, you know, the diving bed. So where he's jumping in. So if I put the hero wig on and you could see him where he's already in the pool. So that's what we did. So, you know, taking that and then now he's in the swimming pool and then he can do his acting and do whatever he did, then this can stay on. It won't take a dive.
Yeah.
Water is just gone.
So what are some of the other locations that you've shot on around the world?
Well, I've been really lucky actually in that I've really got to do a lot of travel, which is amazing because I love it. But, yeah, I've shot in Africa quite a bit. Like I've shot in Kenya and Uganda and South Africa. We did Blood Diamond all around South Africa, Mozambique, a lot of European stuff. And then my favorite, my most, kind of foreign and, the one I felt really kind of excited about is Korea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was it for?
It was for Ocha with
Ocha.
with director Bong. I was there for about 3.5 months. Just
cool.
living in Seoul.
That's awesome. I was wondering where you guys shot that. Yeah,
all
that's
in
awesome.
in Korea and Vancouver and New York. I think after that movie, I literally got burnt out with travel. I was done. That was kind of the last big travel I did on a movie because I was away for nearly half the year. And before that, I was away. So I was away on a movie. Then I came. Yeah, I was shooting in New York because I did Doctor Strange. I looked after children on Rachel McAdams. And because I look after Rachel whenever she's in Europe, she always asks for me. And I do a makeup hair. And then she finished and then Chiwetel, I took over Chiwetel. So I shot in New York. Came home from that, and within a couple of days, then I had to then head to LA to go start prepping on Ocha.
Oh.
And prepping in LA for was there for a couple of weeks prep, then came back, then I had to go to Paris to then find Tilda and hunt her down, then come back, and then before you know it, you're on the plane to Korea. And I was just, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost my grounding completely.
Yeah.
That
starts wearing thin. I was going to ask about Tilda Swinton, actually. What was it like to work with her? I imagine character development and everything's quite a collaboration with her, is it?
It's a very, very much of a collaboration. And it's the tiniest little things with her, it's a massive collaboration and everything gets thrown in. And then we start weeding out because she's, very character driven. It's the teeth. It's the eye. Do I need a lens here? Do I need an extra tooth for this bit and then lose that tooth then for that bit? And do I want this, it's literally, it's a completely immersive collaboration with her, and it's fascinating to watch it all develop. Even like you're watching her in her costume, where she wants the padding for like a certain part of the character, where she doesn't want that. It's just amazing. She is incredible, and just such a warm human. To look at her, she is the ice queen, and then when you meet her, she is the warmest, most maternal, wonderful, caring woman that you could imagine. No, she's absolutely brilliant. Really,
that's
really
awesome. It's so exciting to collaborate like that. I think someone who has so much input and just subtle, like little subtle things that they want to do.
It's the subtleties with her, it's like it's all the little things, and you kind of just figure them out because even if you don't see it, she knows it's there and it helps her.
Yeah,
really, really great experience working with her and really work with her. You hang out. She's very kind of part of the crew, and you come here, it's like we finish on a Friday. She'll do drinks, it's really, really
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on A Cure for Wellness as well, because it's such a stylized film, isn't it? And I remember watching it and going, when is this set? Like you just can't really work it out so much.
No.
So what was it like working with the director and everything, kind of coming up with the style for that?
Yeah. Paul Babinski, now that's an experience. He's amazing because talk about a collaboration. Gore, 100% collaborating from the very beginning. I remember when I started and I think I had like 10 weeks prep. Gore was like, nice. Oh my God, you're already too late. Because he wants everyone on all the recce's, i.e. makeup and hair on the recce. I'm like, Jesus, please don't make me go. And do it there. But because when he's there, he throws out his ideas, he throws out everything. So everyone's there catching what's theirs.
Right.
So basically the whole team needs to be there from the very off. and you take what's yours and you leave what's not yours and you keep going. But, really proud of the look of that film. I thought the cinematography was beautiful, the setting, that whole kind of clinical, timeless world that we created, and with all those bodies in the tanks and all of, that was a job and a half. All those tooth pulling and stuff like that. Yeah. You had to test those to within an inch of their life, because Gore has decided that he wants to see him extracting his tooth. Mm-hmm. And he wants it, when he pulls it, he wants to see the pop of the blood. Like, it should just pop when the blood should be stringy. So now you're like, oh my God, how, what is it? What's the best thing? Is it hair? Is it cotton wool? Is it thread? Is it knitting wool? And so you sit there, literally trying all the stuff, and then you bring them to him, and then you pull it, and then he sees it, and he's like, that one's good. That one's not so good. Okay, let's go with this one. But the attention to details is, second to none.
Yeah.
And he goes, whatever you've seen, whatever horror movie you've seen, anything you've seen, look at it and then throw it out, and then let's start the work.
Right.
Yeah, basically. So everything, and all those, those nurses in that hospital, and their crispness and their cleanness, and they must just look odd, like oddly clean.
Yeah, there's something not quite right.
Yeah. It's all of that. Yeah. No, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I remember seeing the trailer and being drawn in immediately. Just visually, I was just like, what is this? I need to see this film. This looks absolutely, and I like it.
Yeah. Absolute vision. It's a visual feast. It's that film and Child 44, which again, great design, but then, the films kind of don't really do anything because, Cure for Wellness was too long and, didn't do anything. And then Child 44 again, which was a great book. And, then that kind of went off the rails for whatever reasons. But the look of it, that whole kind of 1950s Russia. Look at Numa Rapace, and she wanted to be blonde. I'm like, Jesus, you want to be blonde? Let's get a wig. No, I don't want a wig. I had a wig made. She came, we had a fitting, had the wig made. But, she knew what the plans were for her character. And she's like, a wig is not going to cut it. We have to bleach my hair.
Wow.
And she's dark.
Yeah.
And we did. She came out of it bleaching the eyebrows to match. There's a point, when she wanted to bleach her pubes, we had to go bleach her pubes because she wanted to take it across the room. I was like, this is too much. Yeah. But, she requested
sometimes
it.
you got to go there.
You had to go there, It's like at the end of the workday, go around and bleaching her pubes.
I love it.
Honestly, the things we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, now, I wanted to touch on Snow White and the Huntsman as well, because I think that's pretty awesome to be able to have the opportunity to kind of, reinvent storybook characters a little bit, right?
No, again, another fantastic piece of work that I'm also very proud of, because it was just, when I look at that film, sometimes you look at things and you go, oh, I just thought that was just seamless. It was, everything just blended together. And our director, he communicated through drawings. So you had to make whatever you were presenting, because he draws.
Okay.
And so, had to draw it. My drawing was terrible. So I had a concept artist with me who would bring my words to life, and we'd sit there and, sketch, and I would do a terrible sketch, and then he would improve on it. And then I would talk and then take away stuff. But the design work on that, and that went for like months. I spent one whole year doing that movie pretty much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was booked. I think I was confirmed for that job, in the March of that year. Mm-hmm. And then there was soft prep. There were bits of concept work that would happen. We would do a photo shoot, and, go on, and something else would come up. And I think I started on it properly in the May
Yeah.
And then I was leaving that makeup trailer on December 21st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my year gone.
No, it's
But,
very cool. I mean,
yeah,
it
totally
was,
rewarding though, like absolutely
Yeah.
rewarding. And, and then we got to go to the Bake Off to present that because that got down on the short list and, and that was exciting because I'd never kind of had an experience like that before. And when you're doing something that you love and you come from left field to it, a lot of things you don't think about on a daily do. You're just doing your work and just, hoping you can get through the day and then be back here tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, and then this comes up and then there you are and you're inside these, hallowed halls presenting to the academy and doing all that stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm a winner. I don't care. I really don't care. I am here doing this with these people. I think the worst part was, I think they did it in our festival order or something. And I had to go up just after Rick Baker.
Well,
Like,
they should just make him go last.
Oh my God, just let him go last because, you know it and everything. But it was such a great experience, a great ride. I just thought, wherever this, because, you get the countdown and you go from all the movies that's been made and you're down to, 18, then something else. And then you're like, oh my God, we're like 7.
Right. So it gets down to 7 for the Bake Off. Wow.
Oh my God.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Absolutely just, mind blowing because there was a lot of hard work that went into that. Really a lot of hard work. The teams just worked so hard and, Colleen, actually the costume designer, she's, collaborative to work with, once she's kind of finds your way with her, it's about the work, we get it done. And it was a fantastic experience.
That's very cool. I wanted to touch on cats because I wanted to understand. Yeah, I know. I was like, is this like, don't talk about the war? Like,
how can we not? I mean,
it's awesome. But I haven't seen it, so that's a bit naughty of me to even bring it up. But I have seen trailers and clips and things like that. And I'm just wondering, on a practical side for the makeup and everything, what were you guys doing on a daily basis? Like how much of it?
Yeah. On a daily basis, we were painting faces. So this is how we started. There was a concept from, I don't know, there was like hundreds of people all over the world working on, creating these concepts. And sending them to Tom, and Tom would decide whether we liked them or not. So he would present this concept. Of course, he presents the concept in 2D. And then, so now you have to look at this and make it 3D. Mm-hmm. All the different colors that the cats have, all the colorways and all of this stuff. We had to present those.
Okay.
And that was like torture because he was so precise. Because now we're going to then, the visual effects will then be overlaid onto it.
Right.
So any lines or anything that you have, they have to be precise and they have to be exactly the same every day. Yeah. So then we did these, the more kind of defined ones. We did these, back four masks.
Mm-hmm.
So then we could just measure it, fit it every day, and we know that's our positioning, and then we would color in and, go from there. And there was a lot of it that, some of the ideas that I had, because everything was thrown at it. First, it was, I think he spent like a year in LA and tested flocking. And then there was like another massive prosthetic test, which didn't work because you didn't see anybody, you didn't know who they were by the time you've got all the prosthetics on and the fur and everything. Yeah. So then with all of that kind of process of elimination going on, it then comes back to basic face painting.
Right.
Which that's where we ended up. So face painting and then dots. And those days were some of the longest days I have ever worked because with our dancers, they have to have makeup before they warm up. And our lead girl, Frankie, she's a prima ballerina at Royal Ballet. And she has to have a 45-minute ballet class every morning. So she gets made up before that.
Oh, wow.
So we're getting them ready to be on set for 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So she's in makeup at 5 for an hour. Then she has 45 minutes getting into those suits, those motion capture suits. That takes like another 40 minutes. Then there is they have to calibrate these suits because, they're capturing their motions by a computer. So all of these things that they're wearing on. I mean, it was the most technical thing. I mean, at one point I said to Mandy, I mean, do I really want to be a part of this as it was going on? And then I thought, well, actually it's kind of cutting edge because at some point this is going to be bettered. This is like the baby stages of this and it's going to be bettered. So it's kind of good to see where it starts.
Yeah.
And honestly,
and just how it all works and what your part in that was.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of knew that it was going to be one of two things. It was either going to be completely brilliant or completely shy. There was never going to be a middle ground with it. I remember talking to one of the producers one day. I saw him at a party actually, weren't at work, and he said, I'm having sleepless nights. I'm really, really worried about what we're making. Oh, fuck. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Yep. I kind of hear you. But it was an experience. It was a good experience. I mean, the fact that we survived it.
Yeah.
Because, it wasn't in, you had to do the dots then, you had to do the visual effects dots all over the face.
Yeah.
And visual effects, you'll be checking them when you go down. They're in the same place.
Yeah. Tedious.
Yeah. Details. I mean, Tom would sit there with a pointer stick, like the cat, where to do the eyeliners, like the cat's eyes, and he would sit there and it's like, one of that line is slightly pointier than the other, and then this one flicks just a tiny bit. Oh, I mean, he prep. We worked so much overtime in prep because he'd be there at rehearsals all day. Then he would come to us at about 5, 6 in the evening, and we're not leaving there until 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What were you using to paint the faces with? Because there's obviously, I mean, these dances and movement and
we use a lot of stage makeup.
Okay.
Yeah, we use stage makeup. We use some of the Mac Pro. My brain is gone now. But anyway, they're grease and some of their watercolors. And oh god, what's the name of that brand? I'll try and remember. But that really was our best.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost just need to watch it just to see what everyone's going on about, because I
have to say, when I watched it, I thought, actually, it's not that bad. I mean, the bits which are more normal are the worst bits. I think when it goes really spooky, like really out there, then it's just trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is just trippy. And, it's one of those things that you could just look at. You're like, okay.
I love that people, it's nice to see people, taking chances and trying something that hasn't been done. And it's exciting. It's good to see that.
That's what Tom was doing. It's like, he literally was just pushing it out there.
Yeah. It's good to see that the industry is, still moving and changing. And
yeah. That is, that was a good thing to come out of it. Cats. Oh god.
I love it. Now, and talking about that, with the industry changing, what do you feel has changed in the industry since you've been working in the film industry?
Well, I think just the way that everything is. Oh, that makeup was Marin makeup. It's the Marin stage makeup.
Okay.
But the way things have changed, I mean, the industry has changed. a lot, you know. I mean, it's changed from, you know, say what you see on camera. So yes, of course, technology has come in. So we've got HD makeup. And then remember when that came in, everyone was in a state of panic because like, what do we do about hair lace? What do we do about this? You know, because HD and this HD and the makeup and you can see it and all of this. And I remember starting to get worried. I was like, what are we going to do? Like, again, delays. And I remember going to this, they had a day seminar at BAFTA and all these DPs, like being Roger Deakins and all this were kind of presenting and talking. And then they did this experiment where they shot the same scene with all the different HD cameras and the different filters, and you could see what details and how the details were changing.
Oh, wow.
As the filters changed and as the light changed and, you know, how much kind of atmos you add to it and all of this stuff. And I thought, well, basically it's your finest film work because, you know, pre that, if you worked on film, you just had to be super, super, you know, soft with your makeup and everything. And it was more forgiving on the lace, I have to say. But I came away with that. So that's been like one of the bigger changes. But it's also changed in the way the department is now. You know, it's what the department requires. It's like you need a coordinator because there's so much, you know, paperwork and stuff to do in a department. Back in the day, we didn't have that. You know, you had the team, you know, someone would do the shopping when it needed doing and all of this stuff. Everything is just got a lot more sharper, you know, more, I want to say professional, but we've always been professional, but I just think it's a kind of a modern way. Everything is just slick.
Yeah. A bit more business.
Yes. Business. Business. That's exactly what it is. It's become a real business. So you need a coordinator, we need the trainees, we need the juniors, we need the team, we need all to be ready. We need to have our mood boards done and we need to have your zingy computery stuff that you can do. Oh my God.
So true.
Yeah. It's a real business now.
So what changes would you like to see in the future then?
What changes would I like to see in the future? I think one of the things that we are doing, and we do that very well here, is the apprenticeship kind of business, you know, where we have our trainees and and you kind of work through the ranks. I think that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I work in America, I find it difficult that we don't have that.
Yeah, it is very difficult. I will just say that out loud right now.
Yeah. You just go, so who's the young person who's going to use the printer?
I said, Flora said to me, she's like, but who gets your coffee? And I was just like, she was being cheeky. She was being a little smarty pants.
Yeah. Who gets your coffee? Who does the printing? Or, you know, all of that stuff, you know? Somebody needs to take care of that. But what changes would I like to see in the industry? God, at this point, it's kind of difficult to say in terms of because of where we are and what's coming. This might be the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Still racking my brain on what I'd like to see change.
Shorter hours, maybe.
Yeah. Shorter working hours. Yes.
I think everybody across the board would like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Shorter working hours. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that would be a very, very good thing.
What have you been working on recently that we can look forward to seeing?
Last year, I did this amazing musical, which is supposed to be coming out this year. It's called Jingle Jangle. It's a fairy tale, musical. John Legend has written some of the music and he produced it. Forrest Whitaker, starring, but it's a fantasy Victorian drama.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a black cast with all these kind of the costumes, just amazing because, you know, the costume designer, Michael Wilkinson, who's just amazing, he sourced all this kind of vintage African material and making like these Victorian dresses, you know, big frocks with the material, and the men have it as the piping of their costumes. And I mean, stunning.
Wow.
absolutely stunning.
That
And
sounds
the hair,
amazing.
and fantasy hair, I cannot even tell you. I swear. Sometimes I just pull up pictures of it on my phone and just look at it.
Sharon, this sounds so exciting. I can't wait to see it. That's so cool.
Yeah, we're talking big, like big just stuff. It's like this director was just like, yeah, we want to push the weird. We want to make it cool.
Do it.
Yeah. That is something that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
What's it called again? Jingle Jangle.
Tangle, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And then I just finished doing Eurovision with Rachel McAdams. So that's going to be on Netflix next week, I think. That's
I saw a trailer for that.
No.
It looks pretty funny.
Honestly, hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. So, and that was good fun because again, that was a lot of character work. Rachel is very character driven. So it was character work going into that because her journey from, this little Icelandic competition to where she goes and gets completely polished in the Eurovision polish in that kind of over the top way. I mean, everything was large. I really got into trouble for some eyelashes that were just so big. The director was like, "Oh, they're supposed to be like this, they're just too big," and she feels uncomfortable and all of this. But that was a journey, those characters, because it's also like working on each one with her, like both of us just figuring them out, where this one ends and where that one begins and what she would have at this point. And you're just kind of locked into that, which is, it's the way I love working, to be honest. I love, whole, really hunkering down and making it work. Yeah. So we did all of those. I mean, my God, I think she had something like, I think it was over 30 costume changes.
Oh, wow.
And probably nearly as many hair changes and makeup changes.
The makeup changes. That's cool.
Honestly.
Did you get to go to Iceland for any of that?
Yeah. We went to Iceland. We went to Iceland. Cool. That last video that we shot, that was in Iceland. That was really cool. And then, then I was in LA in February. It came for the day to do a photo shoot because what the plan was to market the film was to market it as a spoof, a bit, kind of Spinal Tap. And so we were shooting like these Rolling Stone magazine covers and then we were doing interviews with their characters and we were going to I was booked to go on the press tour with it. And then, then Eurovision was cancelled. The world's been cancelled. Yeah. So so it's on TV next week on Netflix.
Cool.
So that'd be exciting. And I'm working on a new version of Cinderella, the one we need. And this one is directed by Kay Cannon, very, very
awesome.
Fantastic female director. And that is, again, it's a musical, it's a fantasy. So again, it's big. You're talking the whole look, the way I describe it, the look of this one is anything from the Baroque period through to glam rock, anything within that.
That's amazing. You must be having so much fun, Sharon. That's
God. Oh my God. The looks, the hair, there are some big hair, amazing. So that's what we're working on. And then we had to stop. So that's what we'll go back to in another few weeks by the sound of it. But so that's what I'm on.
Awesome. Yay. I'm excited about these
really exciting
projects you have coming out. They sound amazing.
Yeah. Really just getting your hands dirty and getting into things, and getting creative. It's it's fantastic.
And whenever somebody says big hair to me, I'm like, oh, I'm there. This sounds great. I want to see it. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah. Just be careful when you say big, because I do mean big.
Love it.
Are we kind of in the same big sort of arena? People say big and then you go big and they're like, oh, just a little bit down, maybe.
Yeah, no. I mean, they should still be able to walk through a doorway.
Yeah, exactly. All I say, just, I said, I'm going to go there. All you can do is rein me in. Yeah, I'm going to let you just rein me in. You will never say push. Never have to say push a little bit more. You'll rein me in.
Yeah. That's, I think, a good way to work. It's just like, I'm going to just go for it. And if you need me to pull it back, I can pull it back.
Yeah. No, totally. So, so this is really quite exciting. Have those to look forward to.
Absolutely. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask the question that I ask everybody, and nobody can seem to give me one answer, but I'm after one tool or product you would not want to work without.
One tool or product that you not want to work without.
I guess it's kind of like something that you use on every job.
That's that thing. Oh God. Which one is it?
It's okay. No one can give me one answer. They're always like, oh, this, and this, and this, and this.
Which one is it? I think one of the things that I love, and from a makeup point of view, is that maquillage palette.
Okay. Yep.
So that one has got all the colors, because you know that you can literally turn out every makeup from that, whatever else. If you have to do a bruise, if you have to do a beauty makeup, that palette, you could create that. So that I love. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to ask you one person you'd like to hear on the podcast.
Who would be good? Who I'd like to hear? No. Oh, do you know Sean Gregg?
No, I don't know anybody.
Okay.
I'm slowly through doing this podcast, learning who all these people are. So this is amazing.
Yeah. No, Sharon Gregg, she's really great. She has been Leo's personal since they met on Titanic.
Oh, I have heard of Sharon. Yes. Okay. And
she's doing Jurassic at the moment. And she's been working with Leo ever since, doing his makeup. If you want makeup. She does both.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She does do both.
Either.
When she designs, but with Leo, she does the makeup, and then Cass Blondell does the hair.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. But I think she'd be cool, because her mom was like head of makeup at Welsh TV or something.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
Second generation.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the other person I was thinking of also was Faye Hammond. She has now kind of semi-retired, but she went with a real talent. Just loads of fantastic stuff. I mean, her last film that she finished on, she was doing Fantastic Beast, but she's just done loads of stuff, and she's so brave and fearless. Like, I used to assist her.
Yeah.
And she's like, just whack it on, Sharon, just whack it on. It's like,
I love it.
Yeah. Easy for you to say. Broad strokes, just whack it on. Like, you're right. But she's great.
Very
and
cool.
I think someone who is now kind of like at the end of her career, like, just, she might be interesting.
Absolutely. This has been brilliant, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, a lot of fun chatting and just kind of, remembering things. Like, oh, God, I can't. And then the things you forget, like your favorite piece of kit. Oh, God. But yeah, next time I'll probably remember what I love doing, what I love doing it with. Yeah.
But thank you. Very cool.
Very, very welcome. Thank you for having me.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Are you struggling to break into the industry after hair and/or makeup school? Looking for guidance on how to help your career flourish? Or simply just considering a career in film and TV? Then Training to Trainee is for you. This original 184-page, 22-chapter comprehensive book is designed to take you from hair and makeup training to a fully fledged film and TV trainee, giving you the tips, tricks, and practical advice you need to help you succeed. Teaching you everything from the role of a trainee artist, job expectations, kit list, how to write an eye-catching resume and cover letter, portfolio building, how to find work, the working hours and pay, on-set etiquette, makeup bus etiquette, continuity, how to read and break down a script, paperwork, job roles on set, industry lingo, and so much more. Collated over 4 years and written by Amy Eliza Reid, a working film and TV hair and makeup artist with over 6 years experience to give you the tools you need to feel more confident in your role and on set. Are you ready to take the next step? Grab your copy today and your 5% discount at trainingtotrainee.co.uk/lastlooks. And be sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram at Training to Trainee.
Okay, Last Looks crew, thanks for listening. And remember, if you love it, share it. A quick scroll down and you'll find our show notes. Or maybe you'd like to give your support and leave a 5-star review. Go on, I know you want to. Search the Last Looks podcast on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, whichever one tickles your fancy. And a massive shout out to the husband, Brett Stanley. Without his patience and tech support, this whole podcast situation simply does not happen. And cheers to Liliana Rose for her fabulous voice acting talents. Okay, Last Looks crew, that's a wrap for me. I don't need to be told twice to get out of here, so bye. I'll catch you on the flip side.
That's a wrap, people.